Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Forward Line. I am back this week with the new sewing pattern releases for April. And I suppose we could call this in the UK our first ever the lockdown edit, the first ever full month of pattern releases from lockdown. There have definitely been less releases this month for sure, but I've got some really lovely things to talk to you about because I know a lot of people are feeling like they want to get stuck into some creative projects, and there's some really lovely patterns. I hope you're doing all right. Battling on, every day is a new battle, and feeling a bit Groundhog Day. Anyone else feeling like it's Groundhog Day? No idea of what day of the week it is, but yeah, all okay. I hope you guys are okay too. And also, I've woken up in the UK today and it is raining and grizzly and grey, so I'm sorry if it looks a bit grey in here. It's because it's very grey outside and I've got a big woolly jumper on again, so I feel like we had a really nice few weeks of sunshine and now it's back to sort of scuzzy winter. Anyway, that's the British weather edit for you. How fascinating. I'm going to move on and talk to you about patterns. Right, so the first pattern I've got to talk to you about is the Blair Jacket from Homer & Howells. This comes in sizes 6 to 24. So Homer & Howells are a UK-based pattern company. They're quite new if you haven't come across them before. It's a two-woman team and they both worked within the fashion industry for a long time. One was a garment technologist and one was a pattern cutter. So they really know their stuff. I loved this jacket as soon as I saw it and I'm really excited to talk to you about it. So the jacket comes in two variations. There's a longer variation and a shorter variation. The longer variation, which has been styled as a dress, I think is a really lovely idea. So it's double-breasted, it's unlined, and I'm looking at it and I think the construction is quite similar to a shirt at the back. It's got a shirt pleat at the back and I think you do that sort of burrito, I would imagine, to encase everything on the inside. It's also got really beautiful big French darts at the front, which are the old-fashioned darts that you come almost from your waist up, and I love them. I think they're really flattering. You can see from the longer version it's slightly cocoon shape, and it's got a dropped shoulder. The short version is really sweet and it's I really like the shape of it. You can see from the line drawing it almost comes in a bit at the bottom, so it feels like the silhouette almost of a bomber jacket but with the features of a tailored jacket. I think it's really cleverly cut. I think it's really interesting and it would be perfect for this time of year. I love the pink linen that they've made the dress version in. I think it would look amazing, and you can see the crop version they've made it in a really lightweight kind of drapey fabric, so there's definitely lots of different fabrications that you can make this in and it would look totally different if you made it in a sort of viscose or tencel. It would be very drapey, but you could definitely make this in a cotton, like a kind of heavyweight cotton as well, and it would feel quite structured. So I thought that was a really nice pattern to get stuck into. Next up we have got the Steria dress from Jennifer Lauren Handmade. This comes in sizes 6 to 24 and this pattern comes with different bust cups. It comes with A, B, C and D cups. So whoop whoop. If you are looking for different bust cups, if you're bigger busted or smaller busted and you don't want to do a small bust adjustment or a full bust adjustment, Jennifer Lauren does have I think pretty much all her patterns have bust cup options, which is fab. Right, this dress I really love. So Jennifer Lauren, if you haven't come across her, her kind of look is definitely vintage inspired. All her patterns have a bit of a vintage twist. This dress I think is such a lovely summer dress. So there are two variations. The first variation, let me just pull it up so I'm definitely saying the right thing. So the first variation comes with a button down the front. It's got this sort of, which I think adds the vintage twist. It's got a square neckline but with this sort of interesting kind of collar on it. The back of the dress, there are two ties and the skirt is pleated. It also has pockets in seam. I think it's beautiful. I love I love the kind of button down version, but I also really love the second version that is just, it's not buttoned down the front and it's got a square neckline, and it's really simple sort of fit and flare dress, but with that nice square neckline, which is quite an interesting detail, and you don't see that neckline very often. I think it's just a really, I really like this. I think it could be made up in loads of beautiful fabrics. I quite like the idea of making the version with the collar and having it in like a blue and white stripe, and having the collar in like a broderie on glaze, or just a plain white or a contrasting colour. I think, it would be a really nice summer dress, and definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something. Next we have got the Dasher dress from Lenoline Patterns. This comes in sizes 8 to 18. It's available on the online shop. I included this because, well, one, I just love the silhouette. I think it's such beautiful, beautifully shot pattern. And actually it's really, really simple. So if you are a beginner maker and you're feeling like you want to do something a little bit that feels more advanced, I think this is a really good option. So if I show you the line drawings, you will see why I have said I think it's good for a beginner. Fit wise, it has basically got a channel round the neckline and a channel at the waist where you pull it tighter to tie it to your size, or your, however tight you want it, not your size, you know what I mean. So actually in terms of fit, very little going on there. It's raglan sleeve, which means it's really easy to put in. The only thing that's going to be the fiddliest part of it, if you are a beginner maker, is probably putting the cuff on the sleeves, but I think that's doable. It's a really lovely pattern. I think you could whip this up quite quickly, especially if you're an intermediate maker. I think you could have this done in an afternoon. And there's also variation on it where you can add a frill at the bottom, which I think looks really nice. But yeah, I just think it's really gorgeous. I probably would extend it and make it a little bit longer. I also quite like the idea of making it a bit shorter and having a top version of this. I think it would look really nice over jeans. But it's a really beautiful pattern, and I just thought, well, it's too good really not to share. Yeah, it's an absolute cracker. Right, next up we have got the Pomona Pants from Anna Allen. These come in sizes 6 to 22. It's available on the online shop. I put this one in because many of you have probably come across Anna Allen, or if you haven't, she created she's got about 6 or 7 patterns, but last summer or the summer before, she released a pattern called the Persephone Pants, which kind of took the sewing world by storm, and they're definitely worth looking at if you're thinking about making some trousers. The interesting thing about them is that they don't have an outside leg seam. Yes, that's it, they don't have the outside leg seam, so the whole leg is cut in one bit. And everyone has raved about them and the fit of them and how great they are, and it's really nice to see someone bringing out interesting trouser patterns. So when she produced these, I was really excited to share them. So the Pomona Pants are really fantastic if you are basically either, again, a beginner maker or a more intermediate maker and you want a quick win in terms of a pair of trousers. So they're quite simple, they're really simple in terms of the construction. They've got elasticated waist. There are 3 different variations that come with the pattern. So the first variation is wide leg, kind of wide leg version, long. I think they're long, aren't they? Yeah, wide leg, long. There is a slightly more peg leg which kind of tapers in towards the bottom, and there's also a short version with big sort of patch pockets, which I really like. If you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure about them, go and have a look. Use the hashtag Pomona Pants on Instagram and you can see loads of people have made them and they look fantastic on lots of different body shapes. I saw them and thought, oh, I don't think this would suit me, but I've seen them on lots of different people, and I'm pear-shaped, so I'm always looking out for people with bigger hips. and they do look really good on lots of different people. So if you're thinking like you want to do a pair of trousers and you want a quick make, you're not going to have loads of fitting issues with these. I think they'd be a really good kind of one to get stuck into. Next up, we have got the Fleur Pinafore from Untitled Thoughts. This comes in sizes... Oh, come on, Kate, you had this a minute ago. 8 to 32. 6 to 32. Gosh, that is a huge size range. She always does, actually, Untitled Thoughts does a really good wide size range, which is fantastic. So this pattern is a nice simple one again. I feel like the releases sort of reflect the mood of everyone. Everything that's been released is fairly simple, quick win, which is what we all kind of want at the moment. This I thought was really cute dress, and I think a lot of people will love this. So there are 3 variations. The first one, I'm really sorry if my voice sounds a bit funny. I've got really bad, I think I said in my last video, I've got really bad hay fever, and yeah, so sorry if I also keep itching my nose and my eyes. Yeah, I feel like, so annoying. Right, sorry, I've got distracted. Right, the Fleur Pinafore. So the 3 variations, it's quite simple in terms of the construction, and again this would be really good for a beginner maker. It's a gathered skirt with a waistband and essentially a bib on the top. So there are 2 variations with a bib. There is a classic one with a button sort of strap and a patch pocket on the front, and the second version has got these really lovely tie straps, which I think is really beautiful. Again, there are patch pockets which you can have or not depending on how you feel. And then the last variation is a simple gathered skirt. So if you are in the beginner category and you a gathered skirt is a really good starting point for dressmaking. It's a really nice thing to have in your wardrobe, and I think once you've made a gathered skirt you could definitely then move on to using the kind of dungaree bib part. So the construction for this would be quite simple. I just think it's lovely, and I really like the idea of having, you know, just wearing that with a t-shirt underneath, and it'd be a really nice one for summer. I think you probably get quite a lot of wear out of this pattern. Yeah, it's a good one. So the next pattern I've got, which is another nice simple one, it's there are sort of 2 patterns with this one. It's the Rio Ringer t-shirt and dress from True Bias, and there is also a children's version of this. So I'll talk about the adults one and then move into the children's one. It's a really lovely, I love how she's made this pattern, actually, I have to say. So a classic t-shirt, it has a real 70s feel, it's quite tight fitting, and I really like the way that she's got the contrast, contrast, what's the word? Ribbing detail around the neckline and on the sleeves. I think it looks really, really good. So it's actually really simple, as I said, quite close fitting. The dress version again is also, so it's quite tight fitting the whole way down, but I think the shape of this t-shirt's really nice, and we don't actually have that many. Quite a lot of the t-shirt patterns that are released are quite loose fitting, and I quite like that this is nice, simple, and quite tight fitting. I think it's really great. So that would be a nice easy win, and I love the contrast ribbing on that, or it might just even be jersey actually. It probably is. Oh no, it probably is ribbing. Yes, it's ribbing. So the mini version is exactly, oh, I haven't told you what sizes. That's very bad. So it comes in sizes 0 to 30, so it's got a great size range for the adults one. The kids version is exactly the same. There's a dress version and a t-shirt version, and this comes in sizes 2 to 10 years. So this could be a really nice project if you're thinking that you'd like to make something alongside your children, and you can make one for you and they can make one for themselves, and then everyone gets something. So I thought that might be quite a nice like joint project for people to work on together. Right, last but definitely not least, we've got the Belgravia knit dress from Liesl & Co. This comes in sizes 0 to 30. I included this pattern because I think it's really great shape. I think a lot of people will like it. I think it will suit a lot of people. And it's a jersey pattern, which we haven't had that many releases of sort of jersey dress patterns for a while, so I think it's nice to include it. So there are two variations. The first one, I'll show you the line drawing so you kind of get an idea for what's going on. It's got this sort of tie detail at the front of the dress. It's got a seam up the centre front of the dress and down the centre back of the dress. The first variation has this almost little tie at the front, nothing much going on the back. The second variation has, it looks like it's almost, it's like a longer panel that is then wrapped around the body and tied at the front. So depending on what if you want to make a real statement feature, I'd go for the one that goes all the way around. Or you can go, and actually probably that would use up more fabric, so if you've got less fabric, go for version A. But it's a really lovely pattern. It also has a little kind of slit up the front. I think the thing I liked about this is it's perfect for, one, it's perfect for summer. Jersey is easy to fit. Also, you could totally wear this whenever we go back to work in our offices. People go back to work in offices, but you could also wear this at the weekend and it would feel like a really nice casual dress. I also quite like the idea, of anyone's looking at this, of making it a bit longer, so it's like a midi length version of this, so kind of, yeah, mid calf I think would look quite nice as well with the slit up the front. Yes, right, that is it from me this month, but do go and check out the blog post because we've got all the releases from the last month, and we will be back soon with another video. Yeah, back soon with another one. Have a lovely weekend, and yeah, see you soon. Bye!